Media.
Hey, Campside listeners. Welcome to Inside the Tent, our series where we go behind the mic of our hit podcasts. I'm Josh Dean, co-founder of Campside and host of many of our shows, including Chameleon. Today, I'm going to talk with Michael Canyonmeyer about Reign of Error, the story of Knicks owner James Dolan and his long and troubled stewardship of the team. Mike wrote the show, which came out back in 2023, when the Knicks were the losingest NBA team of the 21st century and a championship seemed impossible. Well, I guess we were wrong about that part. Because unless you were living under a rock, you know that Jim Dolan's Knicks just won a championship, and I'm not sure I've ever seen New York City more filled with joy. The vibes are, as the kids say, immaculate. Which doesn't mean it went seamlessly for Dolan. And I stand by Reign of Error, which is in my opinion one of the most fun things we've ever made at Campside. And Mike Meyer was a huge part of that. But I'd be remiss if I didn't also credit our incredible producer Joe Hawthorne and the great David Green, who hosted it. If you want more behind-the-scenes content from our shows and the people who made them, head to joincampside.com to become a free member of the Campside community. That's joincampside.com. Now, here's my conversation with Mike. So, Mike Meyer, we are here today to talk about the seemingly impossible, the New York Knicks winning the NBA championship. And you and I are having this conversation because we worked on a series back in 2023 called Reign of Error to kick off our franchise called Owned. Can you describe, for people listening to this who did not listen to that series, what was Reign of Error?
So Reign of Error was a comedic tour through the life of James Dolan, the owner of the Knicks, a Sony New Platts graduate searching for meaning after taking a job in corporate America, as we said at one point in the show. And we really just chronicled his, in 5 episodes, his entire history, going all the way from his entire reign of error, REIG, and from getting the team handed to him by his father, through becoming the NBA team with the worst record in the 21st century until recently. They finally scraped past the Washington Wizards, or the Washington Wizards scraped past them on their way to the bottom, and and culminating in an impassioned plea on behalf of Knicks fans for him to sell the team so that we could end this fan base's suffering. And I guess that leads us to where we are now.
Yeah. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying it, but just 3 years later, after we made a series in which we chronicled the worst owner in the NBA, arguably maybe the worst, or certainly one of the worst in professional sports, most disliked, most unsuccessful, a guy who, I mean, we used the phrase step on a rake so many times while making that series because he's his own worst enemy. And yet here we are, his New York Knicks not only won the championship, won it in dramatic form, lit the city of New York up in a way that it has never. I've lived in New York now for over 30 years. I've never seen the city like it was during that incredible run. And the team is very likable. So I kind of can't believe it. What's your reaction?
I went through a range of emotions over the course of this series. I'm not a partisan in any way. I lived in New York for a time, but during the Knicks' long doldrums, and I never got attached to the team. But I just, it's funny. I did develop just a frustration with James Dolan over the course of writing this series. And then when the Knicks were doing so well, is like, I was like, I didn't want to root for James Dolan's happiness. That seemed wrong. But then when millions and millions of people in New York were just ecstatic, it was like, okay, I guess this balances out some. So I don't know. I'm still in disbelief, honestly.
Yeah, me too. And I had a similar feeling. I mean, I'm not a Knicks fan. I've lived in New York a long time, but I just never I don't know. I'm a big sports person, and my feeling about teams is that they always find you, right? You end up liking a team for some reason, and then you can't control your emotions. And I'm very passionate fan of the New York Mets. So it's not a New York thing. It's just the Knicks. And a lot of it, I think, was because of Dolan. I just found him so unlikable. He treated players poorly. He treated coaches poorly. He treated general managers poorly. He treated the fan base poorly. I mean, he did everything wrong, and yet the city loves that team. And I was explaining to my wife, and I think numerous other people, I mean, this is not a radical theory at all, but like why that was. One was like it's been 50 years since they've won, of course, but it's really the only sports team that unites the city. It's very split Mets Yankees. Like I'm a Mets fan. I hate the Yankees. I will root for any team against the Yankees, maybe even the Dodgers or the Braves. That's how much I dislike the Yankees. Jets and Giants fans don't like each other. Rangers and Islanders fans don't like each other. And yes, the Nets are in Brooklyn, but they've only been there for like a decade. They were in New Jersey for my entire life. So it's not like there are generations of parents who pass their love of the Brooklyn Nets on to their children. And the Knicks basically have the entire city. Add 50 years of frustration. Add, I think New York is the birthplace, not the birthplace, but the cradle of basketball. You know, like everybody plays in the streets. And it was just incredible. It like united the city. And I'm like, I don't like this team. I don't like James Dolan, but I want the city to have this, man. People are so excited. And so that's like where I am. Conflicted emotionally. I think I'm very happy for New York City. I'm not so happy for Jim Dolan.
You could argue that we got this wrong. Like I think that, you know, we made a show with sort of the premise that this guy was a disaster. I would argue that premise remains intact. That premise remains ongoing, that James Dolan is a disaster. He just happens to be the owner of a championship basketball team right now.
I think that's true. I mean, yeah, I was going to ask you if you think of him differently, and I think like it's okay. There's no order here. It's a chaotic moment in New York City and the world. So I think that's right. I think I'm happy for New York. I'm happy for the team, but I don't think it was because of any particular genius on the part of James Dolan. I guess if anything, the one little bit of credit I will give him is that it did seem like over the last 3 years, to the extent it's possible, he got out of the way in a way he never had before. Like he hired Leon Rose and seemed to give him control. Rose hired Thibodeau and then fired Thibodeau, kind of radical decision, and then hired Mike Brown. And Dolan, for the most part, I think stayed out of basketball operations, right? Didn't it seem like that?
Yeah, I think that's from everything I read. That's right, and I think we would know otherwise, right? It's a notoriously leaky ship, despite Jim Dolan's hatred of that, and probably because of his hatred of that, of people talking to the press and his relationship to the press, which was one episode of our series was entirely devoted to his relationship with the press. But no, I think, and it's funny, you know, I went in the series, you know, we should get into, I think that Jim Dolan is an aspiring musician. He has a dad band, JD and the Straight Shot. He writes blues songs about the woes of being a billionaire sports owner. In the series, we use the premise of, he's building the Sphere in Las Vegas as like, why are you spending all your time chasing a championship for the Knicks, chasing this thing in Las Vegas, running your dad's company, running your dad's empire that you inherited? You're obviously miserable. Just you've got all the money in the world. Just be a musician. The music obviously makes you happy. But I think what happened, arguably, is that the Sphere drew all of his attention. He didn't have any to give to the Knicks, and then lo and behold, the Knicks went and won a championship.
I think that's a very good operating theory for what happened. And yeah, we had this conclusion we reached, which was, yeah, that he just like music was what he did in college. I mean, he's to his credit, recovering addict. He was apparently a drug addict and a very bad one, and he gave it all up, and he's been clean for decades. And it was clear music was always his outlet, the thing he loved to do. He had the money to hire this incredible supporting band made up of like super high quality professional touring musicians, and they toured and they had a bus, and like he had seemed like that. And then the Sphere, and we did grudgingly suggest on the series that the sphere might be a victory. Like it was disastrously underwater at one point. It seemed like it might be an economic disaster, but it did appear like it was going to be this mind-blowing experience. And everything I've heard, including by our host David Green, who's been, is that it's amazing. Like there's not even an asterisk. It's like you go there and you're like, okay, Jim Dolan, that was awesome. You haven't been, have you?
He's racking up wins now. I mean, he must just be so happy.
Is that possible?
No, I don't think so. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah.
I'll give you one sign that he might not be completely happy. He's not enjoying it as much as OG and Jalen and Kat and all the guys who seem to be having the time of their lives and absolutely deserve it because they're a very lovable gang. I'm not sure there's ever been a more lovable team. Side, just this is a slight detour. They just like three of them played together in college. They seem to be great dudes, and their games were always fun to watch. But Dolan, in the middle of it all, and this is worth pointing out, couldn't just enjoy the ride. He didn't like sit back and be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I lucked into this incredible collection of guys." This guy Jalen Brunson, who no one thought would be a superstar, maybe the greatest clutch player of all time, even over Michael Jordan. He had to get into a fight with the mayor a few times over the fan zones outside. Did you follow that at all?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, no, that was exactly it. It was just he cannot help himself. And there was a great quote from the mayor's office. Actually, I should just look it up or I've got it written. I copy and pasted it onto my phone because it was so funny. And so I'd like to think his press secretary listened to our podcast.
I hope so.
I hope so. Spokesperson Joe Calvello said Wednesday that Dolan, quote, seems hell-bent on making sure the city has rancid vibes for the finals run.
And for those who don't live in New York and weren't following, I mean, two things happened. So one is that he invited the president, who some people like the president, a lot of people don't. And in New York City, a wildly unpopular figure. Jim Dolan, in the midst of this fantastic run that had captured the city's vibes, were like off the charts. He invites Trump, who screws up the traffic, forces them to put barriers around for blocks around the garden. People had to wait hours to get in. He gets booed on the Jumbotron. He falls asleep during the game. And it's the only game in the series that they lost. so like Dolan, it's like, well, I guess he didn't see that coming. It's like, what the hell are you thinking, man? So that was the first thing. The second thing was they had these incredible viewing parties outside the Garden, and thousands to tens of thousands of people would show up. It was like joyous dancing in the streets, just like massive celebrations. And obviously they couldn't come when Trump was there because for security reasons. And then the next game, they also canceled it. And he tried to blame the city, but the city said, no. We gave you the permit that you asked for, because apparently, he had only applied for a permit for up to 1,000 people. And so that's what they granted him. And then when he saw that, he's like, well, I can't only let 1,000 people in. I'm canceling it altogether. But he tried to blame the city. And the city immediately was like, no. We have the receipts, my man.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. There's so much to unpack there. I mean, one, I don't think Jim Dolan has any credibility of being this man of the people who says, yes, I'm going to invite throngs of all of New York into the Garden. I mean, this is a guy who's famously used his facial recognition system to kick a mom of a Girl Scout out of Radio City Music Hall for a Rockettes Christmas show. So...
What a sentence that is.
Right, but then just to and then the whole Trump invite was so funny because I feel like it got to this. James Dolan's a performer. I guess that's how I always thought of him when I was writing. So he obviously wants attention, but he also kind of wants to be loved, and yet he also kind of doesn't like that he wants to be loved, I think, and is in this constant conflicting relationship with himself. And so he couldn't have done it better in terms to try to set everything up to make everyone mad at him again than than the Trump invite.
Epic rake step. He stepped on a just giant rake right. I mean, and then again, like, it's not just fighting with the mayor, but say what you will, like, whether you like Mamdani or not, he's very popular at the moment. And he's not only very popular, he's so good at the media and at messaging and he's charming. I mean, even Trump loves him, even though he hates his politics, because he's like handsome and charming. And Dolan is the opposite of those things. Like, there may not be a less charming person on the entire planet than Jim Dolan. And so he, like, not only is fighting with this guy, but he's fighting with this guy who's like gleefully using social media and issuing statements like that. Like, Dolan could afford the best PR in the world, and yet look at what he is. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it really speaks to, yeah, it's really funny. And then, yeah, to throw it all away, to have the president kind of fall asleep on you. I kind of picture them as like being on coach on a long flight, and the guy next to you kind of falls asleep and you're worried he's going to fall onto your shoulder. But yeah, I just, some of the best advice I ever got as a comedy writer was that you don't, like, writing jokes is great, but what you really want to create for any project is a comedy engine, like something that you just put in inputs and you get comedic outputs no matter what. And whether he's an NBA champion or the guy with the worst record at the NBA, a few years back, like, Jim Dolan is a constant comedy engine. That just remains true for me.
And also just, like, so tone deaf to everything, right? It's like, I don't understand how it's even possible at this point that he's tone deaf. Like, he's fought with former players, he fights with the media, he fights with, like, lawyers, moms of girls, and every time there's never been once when I'm like, oh, okay, he played that well, or he admitted fault, he apologized. He's still fighting with Charles Oakley. The only game that Charles Oakley got to go to, I believe he was at Game 5 in San Antonio when they won. Did you see that?
I just can't remember which one he was at, but he was at one of the San Antonio games. I remember for sure. Was he there for the big one?
I think he was. And, like, Michael Jordan and Adam Silver have both tried to broker. And I'm not saying, obviously at this point, maybe Oakley doesn't even want it because he's just like, you humiliated me. And I'm like, but still, it's crazy that they can't work this out. I mean, he definitely has. I'm not sure Oakley would be ranked number one if he were to, like, most beloved historic Knicks, but he's definitely in the top 5. People, like, loved that guy and the spirit he enabled or embodied, and Dolan chose to go to war with him, and now he's fighting with the most popular mayor in a long time. He just has a way of, I'm just gonna say it, stepping on rakes.
yeah, exactly. There's not really a better way to put it.
We should talk about the way we ended the series. Do you remember the Michael Rappaport thing?
Yeah.
Explain that to the people at home.
Okay, so we ended the series with sometimes Knicks celebrity, I guess former Knicks Celebrity Row resident Michael Rappaport, saying that if somehow the Knicks ever won a title, Jim Dolan would be the first owner in the NBA to get booed when he got handed the Larry O'Brien trophy. And here we are.
I mean, sadly, we didn't get to test that exactly because it happened in San Antonio.
Right, exactly. I was disappointed in that. It's like, man, what a run it would have been if he had been at, if they had swept the series and won at MSG in Game 4, or if the Spurs had pushed it to 6. But I guess the closest analog, right, is that he gave an address to the watch party at outside of Radio City Music Hall, and he was booed there vociferously, and then he apologized to the crowd for mismanaging the Knicks for all these years and got a cheer. So it was this. It was an interest. So I don't know where that leaves us in our calculus of being right or wrong, but it was pretty funny.
I mean, that's maybe the most self-aware he's ever been, because, like, one of the many things I was always amazed by was how he never once was just like, really shouldn't have gone to war with the liquor board or the Girl Scouts or the mayor or Charles Oakley. Like, never once did he say, like, I'm a hothead. Sorry, man. Like, I mean, I can imagine a version of him that might have even been charming if he had kept doing it and then apologizing and being like, I'm sorry. I'm a guy from Long Island. I used to be an addict. I'm kind of a hothead. Like,
yeah.
But I think, yeah, like that says everything. And I am like, of course, we'll never know now, but I think Michael Rappaport is right. I think had the Knicks won at home, it would have been just so jubilant in the Garden, and they would have been roaring for Brunson and OG and all these guys. And I have maybe not everyone, but I think when he raised the trophy, there would have been more boos than cheers.
I think that's right. I mean, and especially after the fights he picked that we already talked about with the mayor and screwing up the watch parties and all this stuff leading up to when they would have eventually won at the Garden. I think that basically guaranteed that outcome.
I should have said earlier that, and I believe we do talk about this in the series, but for those who haven't, I do have some personal experience with this because I wrote a feature for Business Week about Jim Dolan, in which we hoped he would cooperate and wouldn't. And I was unable to attend, unfortunately, a show by his band. So we sent a reporter from Business Week to cover it for me. And when she approached him to request a conversation, he threw her out of the venue. So that, of course, became the end of my story, which was just another example of, like, he could have just said, I don't want to talk to you. He could have hidden backstage. He could have done all kinds of things that are not the thing that you know is going to make it into the story. He threw her out. And when I talked to the publicist, she said, I hope you're not going to put that in the story. And I said, are you kidding me? Is that a real question?
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, I think he's maybe, I mean, although Jim Dolan remains a problem, perhaps his PR doesn't, because did you see the ESPN story about his locker room speech that came out?
No.
The other day. So ESPN had a story about Jim Dolan addressing the team a few games before the end of the regular season, asking for 10 weeks of sacrifice from them so that they could go win an NBA championship and everything it would mean to them. And he suggested, and his list was very Dolan, and because it included not talking to the media. I think that was his first request. And he also suggested to them, kind of joking, not joking, it seemed that they should abstain from sex for 10 weeks, like the Spartans. But it was played. The reason is a hilarious PR thing, because it was, the story was placed as kind of inserting him back into the victory narrative, almost, of like, oh, Jim Dolan got into that locker room and roused the team and got them going. And yeah, that story didn't come out until after the final, but
yeah, you'd think they would have released that earlier, but I guess you're right. That does signal that at least someone there knows how to do the PR thing. I mean, that not enough to be like, sir, maybe not the president. Like, can we talk about that? Like, are we sure about that? Luckily, that's the only game in the series the Knicks lost, and the next game they were down by. It was the game they came back. They were down 25 at halftime. And that someone, and I'm not going to give Jim Dolan credit, but maybe had the foresight to book the Wu-Tang Clan. And the story in New York now and forever will be that the Wu-Tang Clan exorcised the demons of Trump, got the bad juju out of the Garden, and brought the joy and the vibes back. And from that moment on, the Knicks go on to win the series. So I'm going to believe that the Wu-Tang Clan saved us.
I mean, I'd have to agree. I mean, Wu-Tang forever.
Oh, that's a great closing note. We should end on that.
Thanks again to Mike and the rest of the team, Joe Hawthorne and David Green, and thank you for listening to Inside the Tent. Don't forget to head over to joincampside.com to become a free member of the Campside community. That's joincampside.com.